question in relation to Arsenal at the weekend. The question is, have Arsenal broken Man City? But I want to go to the first bit first. I want to go to Patrick on this. Patrick, the Spurs fan. Patty, did we see a sign of Arsenal crumbling at the weekend and a collapse on the horizon? Or was it just a one-off poor performance from them?
I think it was like the perfect storm, wasn't it? Sean Dyche coming in, he couldn't have timed it better. You knew he was going to get that new manager bounce. We'll see what Everton are saying after a couple of games, but perfect game for the players at Everton to show the manager that they should stick with him against the best team. You're going to give it your all. I saw Everton. I've never seen them like that, pressing for everything, hounding Arsenal players. You can see, that 12:30 kickoff is always it's a bogey fixture. It's a banana skin. And Arsenal slipped all over it, man. It's just Everton were up for the fight. The fans were on it. And Arsenal, they weren't awake. Like, I saw that's the first time I've seen Arsenal look tired and leggy and just out of ideas. And Everton were all over them. And if we're being honest, the scoreline should have been more than 1-0. The scoreline actually favoured Arsenal because Everton had a lot of good chances. They lost to City. They've lost to Everton. Who's your next fixture, Gal?
Brentford at home.
Okay, so yeah, that's a game you should win. But again, they're a decent team, but it's a game you should win. I'll be able to tell Terry after their next game because, to be fair, City is always a tough game. Everton, new manager bounce. It was like the perfect time for Everton to play Arsenal to prove to their manager that they should be in that team. I mean, Dyche mixed it up. He went for pace and power in the midfield. You've never seen that combination of just raw athletes in the middle of the park, and they just
for a Dyche team anyway.
I know, literally, yeah. It was crazy, like something refreshing. But yeah, and I hope this is the moment where the wheels fall off. Arsenal are a good team, though. I hate to say it, they are a good team, man. They deserve to be where they are. Other than the Everton game, they've looked good in every game. So we'll see. But yeah, it was the first time I've seen Arsenal out of ideas. Saka didn't look like he wasn't on it. Martinelli, I keep saying that. I think the guy is overrated, man. That this year he's not been as good as people making him out to be. Saka's been a killer, don't get me wrong. And Nketiah's been very good. Odegaard's been fantastic. Zinchenko coming in and playing as a midfielder when you get the ball and all of that. But Martinelli didn't show me nothing on the weekend. Saka wasn't good. It was just as well. It was a perfect storm for Everton, and Arsenal didn't really have anyone that took that ball. You alluded to it earlier, Terry. You said that Arsenal don't have any like standout player, but collectively they've all been really good. And on Saturday, none of them were really that good, and they just got beat, man. It happened. So we'll see. Brentford at home is a game you should win, but Brentford, if they time up, they could beat you as well. So, yeah, we'll see.
Are you worried at all, Gal? Are you, because the narrative is that now I'm putting it out there as what people are saying. This isn't my thought and feeling, but are you worried at all going into this Brentford game? If you drop points against Brentford, which you should win at home, but isn't inconceivable, you then play on the Wednesday against City again at home. But there could be more pressure built up. Do you feel like Arsenal could be going for a little bit of a blip with 2 defeats on the bounce? Or will it be business as usual this weekend, Arsenal backfiring, comfortable win against Brentford, and then gearing up for the City game?
I'm not too concerned. That's just me personally. I'm not too concerned. The thing that I would be concerned about is what Patrick picked up on with Martinelli hasn't been performing as well with Jesus out. I think Jess touched on it after the game. We definitely needed Jesus in that game. Another person up front that could unlock the defense. And the thing that I would be concerned about, Terry, the only thing I feel like Arsenal fans should be concerned about, and I think as a content creator, I think you touched on this, could this be the blueprint on how to possibly slow us down? Because when it comes to playing football, if you play football with us, you give us time. And Nubbin said earlier that Man City might have got fined for long grass. I think Everton might get fined for that also. With Sean Dyche there, not gonna lie, but you can't.
You're just making that a point.
Yeah, man, they're making it up, man.
No.
Excuse, that's an
That
excuse.
wasn't an excuse. That was tongue in cheek. Anyways, if you guys want to continue, let me continue. When it comes down to my main point. If you go up against us and you don't match us toe to toe and you don't let us play football, you play compact, you play a low block, put basically 8 of your players in between that halfway line and your box, and majority of the game you only play with 1 striker and try to counter us. Most likely than none, you're going to be able to slow down our defense a little bit easier than other people. And when it comes to Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, when they get the ball, they shifted over, and you see in a situation where they still somehow had 8 people in the box and 2 people defending Saka or Martinelli each time. So they did a good job. I gotta give Sean Dyche credit. Really don't think Everton are gonna get relegated, but my concern would be if this is a blueprint on how to stop us away from home. At home against Brentford, we're winning, no question about it. When it comes to away from home, if it was against Brentford away from home, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But at this moment in time, we're at home. We got a good game to bounce back. We're gonna go do it, and we win together, we lose together. People are gonna be upset. There are some negatives to take away, but overall, I'm not too upset.
I think what Everton done was exposed a bit of the naivety in that Arsenal squad, in the sense that because they were so compact and so well drilled in terms of what they'd done, you saw Arsenal floundering for ideas quite early on in the game. And I don't watch Arsenal as much as you, but I've never seen Ben White put in that many crosses. I've never seen Ben White put in that many crosses from
It
that
became
deep.
Trent, isn't it? It became Trent 2.0.
Like, it's not even that. It's just you just all of a sudden started to panic quite early, and that was where Everton started to cause more problems, because your fullbacks were pushing on further and wider, but the ball was ending up at the wrong people's feet, so then they were giving it away. And Odegaard, because you had so many players trying to bomb forward, he was ending up having to drop deep and then not being able to cause damage in the right areas. It was just almost a bit too panicky too early on. And that'll get solved as you get more experience, but that won't get solved overnight. And I think that's what teams need to try and exploit if they're going to get results against you. Try and unsettle you early on and go for that naivety. Stopping Saka is a different kettle of fish. They were lucky they had Dwight McNeil, who is a winger who is quite happy to just mark the other winger and sacrifice his game, because all that happened with Saka was McNeil and Mikalenko doubled up on him at all times. At all times, one of McNeil or Mikalenko was on him. So he was never getting the space. But it wasn't like that with Martinelli, or it wasn't like that with Odegaard. It was just, I felt you just panicked a bit too early, and I thought you went a bit too gung-ho, and that was where the space opened up. Also, Calvert-Lewin, come on, how do you make Calvert-Lewin look good? He's not that good.
He didn't look good. The guy could have had 3 goals.
He did. He looked good, He did.
1 second. If you're gonna mention somebody who looked good, it was Onana. Calvert-Lewin had a chance to score.
You know, but I know Onana's good. Onana's good. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not good, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin was bullying your centre backs and causing all sorts of problems.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have had 3 goals. He literally didn't score. He came out of the game with the highest XG and didn't do shit. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
But that went. Yes, he was wasteful in front of goal, but I didn't say, he was so dangerous in front of goal. I said he was causing your centre backs problems. They couldn't mark him. He was physically dealing with them, and that was creating other opportunities.
You know what was causing our centre backs problem? Onana making runs as from deep, almost as if he's an attacking.
Do you know what stood out to me in this game? There's someone who may end up being. There's been I don't know what he is. He's a TikToker. I don't know what TikTokers are. I've been looking at TikTok a lot recently. There's a few people. There's a United fan on TikTok. He's a Asian brother who does weird half-time analysis, or after 1 goal, like acts like the game's finished. I can't remember his name. I follow him now. He's like when Rashford scored against Arsenal, he's like, "That's it, you're done, Arsenal, we're winning." I thought, why would you ever tempt fate like that? It made me feel a bit ill. Like, it made me nervous, right? But have you seen that guy? I think he's a Spurs fan. It goes, "Hello, football fans." You seen him? He said, if you put fast and strong midfielders up against Arsenal and you basically go in studs in and hit them, you can put them off their match. And it made me laugh, because it was like, it's like Sean Dyche watched it and went, "Let's try that." And
I saw that.
But look, I don't know if naive is the right word, but it's certainly a Sean Dyche team. Sean Dyche teams always play with it. They're a throwback team. I actually don't think Sean Dyche's Burnley team played the ugliest football in the world. I think what you actually watch it back, they're never got a ball out against City or against peak Liverpool. But what they did was old school in terms of they put it on you. They don't foul you to get yellows and reds. They're the kind of guys pinching the back of your thighs and your ass at corners, or treading down the backs of your Achilles. It's old school shithousery. They do it brilliantly. They had speed in the middle, and they really deserved it. I've just seen a lot of people that get a bit too giddy. I must have received about 30 or 40 DMs over the weekend saying, "You said Arsenal will win in the league. Today you were proved wrong." And I just thought to myself, like, people are so desperate for Arsenal to lose that they're acting as if the season ended yesterday. And I just don't know if you should be writing Arsenal off because they are going to drop points. But City, that we've already discussed, that they had a perfect opportunity. Yes, they don't normally win away at Tottenham, but nor do this Arsenal team. And City, for me, I do think this season they've broken under the pressure of Arsenal. For one reason, there are multiple factors, but under the pressure of going up against Arsenal, this City team is broken. And I think a big part of it is just these players are like, this Arsenal team's too relentless and we can't go again. I don't think this City team has the minerals to go up against such a young, youthful, and exuberant side. Have you ever watched animal documentaries where you get the new young lion Simba turns up and the old dog just says, I can't have another fight. I haven't got it in me. Take my misses, take my pride. I'm just going to go and sit in the shade. Can I please have some scraps? That's going to be City this season. I'm not saying City won't be back next year. Let's just park the bus on the allegations right now because that's a different can of worms. City will be back next year. They'll spend money. They'll be fighting out for the title. I feel Arsenal beat Brentford. I feel Arsenal beat City at the Etihad. And with everything going on with these allegations as well, I'm actually getting to a point where I think Man United will end up finishing in front of Man City now. Because there's something.
Wow,
there's something. You guys can say that all you want, right? You guys can say it all you want. I've been telling you all year. City are gettable. They're not running and working as hard. They've got 1.5 players that are genuinely playing well. No fixed back line. The manager is, I am happy. He's not happy at all. City and I'm talking in the context of the top 6 and in the context of challenging for their title. City are in trouble. City are in a mess. Not a mess like how Everton are or what's going on at, clubs, like a Juve mess. I'm just talking in the context of a title challenge. Every time I've watched City play this year, invariably, you can get at them. They leak opportunities. They don't kill games off like they used to. And teams have more of the ball and play through you, probably more this season than in any other year since maybe year 1 under Pep Guardiola. And I'm not saying United will finish in front of you, but I think there's more chance of United finishing in front of City than City overtaking Arsenal. Because even this weekend, you had a perfect example and you froze and bottled it. So Arsenal literally had one of the worst weekends they've had all season, getting beaten by a relegation team, getting outrun and outclassed by Sean Dyche side. And they still ended the day in a better position.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but let me say something about after I go. Let me say something about Arsenal, though.
I just want to say it's not that Arsenal broke City. I think City have just been broken the whole season, Terry. I think City have been somewhat fragile the whole season, and when we play them, we'll actually see how they stack up against us at our house the midweek next week.
I think, but you've done to them what happened 3 seasons ago when Liverpool won the league. They went into the year going for a three-peat. Still a very good team, City, by the way. City are still a brilliant team. They went into that season and Liverpool were relentless again. They wouldn't stop. And it got to that November, December time, which, by the way, with the amount of games we've played, we're kind of ahead of schedule time-wise because of the World Cup. But, they got to that November, December time, might be a little bit after, and I felt like City just went, I can't keep going. And it broke them. And that isn't because City are bad. It's because they're off the back of 2 back-to-back years of winning the Premier League. Doing it 3 times on the bounce is so hard mentally to maintain that concentration, to maintain that level of focus. There's almost an element of MMA fighters talk about this a lot. Sometimes they can be in a fight and they're like they get the situation where they're like, I could keep fighting for another round, but I'm so exhausted. I've been hit so many times. I might end up getting rendered unconscious, which means it might be 6 months, 9 months until I can fight again. And sometimes you can get knocked out bad enough where you never fully recover and you become a little bit less, your punch resistance goes. So often what they'll do is they'll get themselves in a situation where they'll tap early or they'll sort of in the breaks, they'll get throw the white towel in as an example. And some say it's a cowardice. But you listen to those fighters speak and they're like, listen, I just knew I wasn't going to win. So I get myself out of there and I save myself for another day. And there's an element of City saving themselves for another day as well. But I just think Arsenal's relentless nature this season has broken them. And even when they get thrown a little bit of lady luck, they can't get over the line anymore. Mentally, City's gone. They're gone in this title race. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, can I say something about
it's over in the head?
Can I say something about Arsenal though? I just want to say this, and I'm pretty sure the Liverpool fan might agree with this with me, and also my fellow City fan. The funny thing is this, right? I keep looking at Arsenal fans, and as I said, I warned my friend that teams might find you this second half of the season, and you guys might be tired because the running you're doing is a bit too much. Unlike Man City, where when we are beating somebody, even Liverpool, we used to start passing the ball around, conserving the energy for the next game, while Arsenal keep just running. What I'm saying is, what's going to happen is this Everton game, people might just look at it and say, Arsenal had a bad day. But Arsenal have been given, when there's a low block by a team, same as Newcastle, I have noticed one thing with Arsenal. They can find a solution. City struggled some of the seasons to find solutions when people parked the bus. Liverpool also struggled when somebody parked the bus, but we went through it. We kept on pushing. But Arsenal seemed to be like a small team, lack of experience. I think they don't know what to do. Now, what if, this is just me, because I know Arsenal fans right now in Cloud9, they think they're all good. I can say this with chest. This whole Everton thing, I bet you there's few more teams that are going to look at that game and park the bus like that. It's going to be up to Arsenal, like what City did, where we used to win 1-0, get a pen sometimes, continue fighting, but we also struggled. Those games where we used to say, oh my God, that draw was painful. I think Arsenal are going to be undone by the fact that some of the teams right now, trust me, are going to park the bus like Everton did. This is what they did to City. This is what came to Liverpool. All I can say is, welcome to the big boys, Arsenal. This is what teams do to you in the league when they know you're that good. Because I think the first season, even a player, I think an interview, I don't remember, said, oh, we didn't take them that seriously. Now we see Arsenal serious. Watch the second part of this season. I'll come back here and there'll be few more games where Arsenal fail to score. They'll have all the possession they have and they'll lose games. That's all I can say.